Good evening. On the world news tonight from Baba Gbagede Igbo Television. First, the headlines. PDP chieftains attacks Tinubu for slow response to terrorist threat on Abuja. Governor Aiyedatiwa names Adelami as Ondo deputy governor. Kano politicians remanded over speculated planned restatement of Sanusi as Emir of Kano. Fuel price coming down, CBN. We also brought to you as airlines restore power within 7 days of face mass protests. Scores of terrorists killed as ISWAP fighters launch reprisal attack on Boko Haram. On sport, Pesaro responds to criticism of Super Eagles tactics. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. The news in detail. A concerned chieftain of the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, Dr. Abubakar Ali Kali, has criticized the present administration over its alleged slow response to obvious insecurity and terrorist threat to Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital territory. Dr. Al-Kali, in a statement, raised the alarm over what he described as imminent danger and disturbing closeness of gunmen who have allegedly besieged Abuja from the four corners of the territory, and seeming slow response of government to the insecurity and threat to residents. The politician disclosed that Boko Haram, the dreaded terrorist group, and ISWAP are now in alliance with armed bandits and are camped around the borders of Abuja and are only waiting for the right time to attack the capital. According to him, Abuja has now been effectively sandwiched by bandits and terrorists operating in the 4 states around the federal capital territory, namely Niger State to the west, Kogi to the south, Kaduna to the north, and Nasarawa to the east. There is very little doubt that the next theater of attack and main target is Abuja. Moving on to the next story. The governor of Ondo State, Governor Loki Aiyedatiwa, has nominated a former deputy clerk to the National Assembly, Chief Olayide Owolabi Adelami, as the deputy governor of the state. The nomination of Adelami is coming barely 6 hours after the state governor dissolved the State Executive Council SEC today. And to the next story for the evening. To the northern part of Nigeria. A member of the All Progressive Congress APC in Kano, Abdulmajid Mustafa, has been remanded in a correctional facility over his comments on the radio program on the speculated plan by the state government to reinstate the former Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido. Mr. Mustafa, popularly known as then Bilki Commander, in the radio program aired on Monday, attacked former Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, who is the national leader of the new Nigerian People's Party, the ruling party in Kano. Mr. Kwankwaso had said the state government would revisit the emirate law and the dethronement of Mr. Sanusi by former Governor Abdullah Iganduji's administration. The administration had, in 2019, split the Kano Emirate into 5 after removing Mr. Sanusi, carving out Bichi, Karai, Gaya, and Reno as new emirates. We are going for confrontation between us and Rabiu Mr. Kwankwaso if idiots tamper with the emirs, the Mustafa said on the program. The masses should be ready to fight. We are going to revolt against the government until they preserve the emirs. If they try it, don't doubt there will be a state of emergency in Kano, and we are going to quarrel with anybody, he said. The day after his comment on Tuesday, Mr. Mustafa was arrested and charged before a magistrate court. He was charged with disturbance of public peace in Kano on the radio program, but pleaded not guilty to the charge. Moving on to the next story. From the north, the pump price of petrol will moderate this year as government and private-owned refineries begin operation, Central Bank of Nigeria, Governor Olayemi Kadoso has said. He said these on January 24, 2024 at the launch of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group 2024 Macroeconomic Outlook Report in Lagos. He said expected stabilization or reduction in fuel cost is poised to have far-reaching implications across various sectors, contributing significantly to overall economic efficiency and resilience. While Dangote Refinery has already commenced production, the Port Harcourt Refinery is expected to begin production anytime from now. Cardoso said the Apex Bank, the Ministry of Finance, and the NNPCL have collaborated to ensure that all FX inflows are returned to the central bank to boost reserves accretion. He described the Naira, which exchanges around 1,370 Naira to the dollar at the parallel market, as undervalued. Moving on to the next story. As regards the blackout that rocked some states in Nigeria, information report that communities comprise those in and around Oluyole Estate Extension, one of the elite areas within the Ibadan metropolis. Information also reported that the communities Progressive Estate, Heritage Estate, Orelope Community, Oriofe Estate, and Iriakari Community are being fed by Agende feeder of IBEDC. In a letter dated January 16 and obtained, the communities under the Joint Community Development Association, CDA, expressed dissatisfaction with the epileptic power supply which they had been subjected to in recent times. Some of the signatories, comprising chairmen and secretaries of each of the communities, included Lai Olide and Innocent Owotokum Heritage, Benga Ibikunle, and Raphael Olabode, Orilope, and Pastor Kade Akimbule, and Ademola Adedeji, Progressive. Others were Elder Odumarayo and Shegun Odewumi, Oriofe, as well as Dolapo Adewumi and Reverend Shino Alausa, Iriakari. The resident expressed displeasure with the epileptic power supply by the IBEDC to the entire communities, particularly in the last 7 weeks, saying that these have become unbearable to them. They should expect a mass protest. In case of just joining, you are watching the world news from BGI Television. Zagazola Makama, a counterinsurgency expert and security analyst in the Lake Chad region, report that the ISWAP element recently attacked a Boko Haram fighters camp in Tumbu Rago. Zagazola said the attack was a response to the January 21 attack launched by the Boko Haram faction on an ISWAP camp in Tumbu Njaki, noting that both sides are devising means of undoing each other. In a post on his X-handle on Wednesday, Zagazola said the latest clash claimed the lives of several fighters from both sides. He added that reliable sources informed him that the fight at Tuvunrago was bloody as Boko Haram group suffered numerous casualties. Zagazola Makama, counter-insurgency expert and security analyst in the Lake Chad region, was told by reliable sources about the fight which ensued between the two parties. The security expert further stated that the deadly rivalry between the two elsewhere allies will continue unabated as the Boko Haram fighters are not prepared to surrender their supremacy or displaced by the usurpers. Moving on to the next story. A suspect standing trial at an Ikeja High Court caused tension when he attempted suicide while leaving the courtroom. Ayoko Oluwatobi, 25, is facing a 6-count charge bordering on causing grievous bodily harm, damage to property, and membership of an unlawful society. After his counsel moved his bail application, praying the court to admit him on bail on a liberal term, the prosecution team objected to it, saying that the defendant was a flight risk. After listening to both lawyers, Justice Akim Oshidi adjourned the case until April 9th for ruling on the bail application. However, the defendant left the dock, went behind the witnesses, and started tapping the prosecution team members at the back, saying they were his friends and should release him. While he was being led out of the courtroom, the defendant started head-butting the wall, shouting, "I want to die, I can't wait till April." He then climbed the window of the courtroom in an attempt to jump down from the 2-story building. It took the intervention of policemen attached to the court and a correctional service officer to stop the defendant by holding onto one of his legs. You're still watching the world news from BGI Television. Next to come. Yoruba Regional Alliance, a self-determination group of the Yoruba indigenes across the world, on Wednesday said the nomad vigilance group launched by a Fulani group called Meyeti Allah Kautil Ore will not be allowed to operate in any part of Yoruba land. Recall that the Meyeti Allah Kautil Ore launched 1,144-man nomad vigilante group to address various security challenges, including banditry, kidnapping, and cattle rustling in Nasarawa State. The leadership of YRA, while speaking at a press conference held at Dapo Adiroba Conference Hall, the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Yagoku GRA Ibadan said that if any member of a vigilante group are deployed to Yoruba land, be it in Kogi, Kwara, or Edo, or Southwest Oyo, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Ekiti, and Lagos, they will be regarded as alien invading force and will be treated as such. The group, which queried the federal government's inability to fish out perpetrators of Igongo attack, or bomb blast and other attacks in Yoruba state, insisted that Yoruba land seems to be the target of all Nigerian jihadists, ethnic jingoists, and bandits. Till today, the perpetrators of the Igongo and Owo atrocities are yet to be apprehended and brought to book. As far as we are concerned, they seem to be above the law or are being protected by the law enforcement agencies. Before we call it a wrap on the world news, here comes the foreign story. The U.S. military attack site in Iraq is associated with the Kataib Hezbollah militias and other Iranian-affiliated groups. The attacks were in response to an attack by pro-Iranian militias who fired several missiles at the U.S. Army's Ain al-Assad base on January 20th. U.S. forces attacked 3 facilities used by the Kataib Hezbollah militias and other Iran-affiliated groups in Iraq from the air, the U.S. Central Command CENTCOM announced late Tuesday. The target included a militia's headquarters as well as storage and training centers for rockets, missiles, and attack drones, the CENTCOM statement said. Iraq said the U.S. had launched airstrikes on the site of Iraqi military units from the army and the Popular Mobilization Forces, which included several Iranian allied groups. And finally, sports. The head coach of Super Eagles, Jose Peseiro, has defended the team's tactical approach at the ongoing 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Abidjan. The 3-time champions played a 4-3-3 formation in their first game against Equatorial Guinea. Peseiro, however, opted for a 3-4-3 formation for the games against Cote d'Ivoire and Guinea-Bissau. Moving on, pundits and fans have expressed concern about the team's lack of goals. The Super Eagles have scored 3 goals in 3 games in the competition. Peseiro, however, said he has done what he believes is right for his team. I have the obligation to do what is right for my team, pick the best formation, and how best we can win games, he told reporters. The most important thing is for my players to believe in our strategy. They believe in what we are doing and have done well so far. If you remember, at the last AFCON, Senegal didn't score too many goals in the group stage. We are not scoring too many goals, but we are winning. I prefer to continue like this and reach the final. The Super Eagles will face eternal rivals Cameroon in the round of 16 on Saturday. With that sports story, we've come to the end of today's world news. Before we go, some headlines. PDP chieftain attacks Tinubu for slow response to terrorist threat on Abuja. Governor Aiyedatiwa names Adelami as Ondo deputy governor. Kano politicians remanded over speculated plans restatement of Sanusi Lamido as Emir of Kano. Fuel price coming down, CBN. We also brought to you restore power within 7 days of face mass protest. On sport, Peseiro respond to criticisms over Super Eagles tactics. For updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Baba Gbagede Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Gbagede Imo with Alawide Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of goods and services, coverage of events and function, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Moriri Rabila Lawal. Good evening.